People who lost their homes to foreclosure in the last few years, they may be getting something in the mail. Claim forms to see who qualifies for Michigan's part of a $25 billion national settlement. They're going to go out to around 148,000 borrowers. It will also include instructions on how to fill out the claim form and a letter from the Attorney General. That deadline is January, and checks will not be mailed out until the middle of next year. Now, many of those foreclosures fall into the hands of banks or cities like Lansing, and they're actually now trying to pass them off to investors and organizations buying foreclosed properties to rehab and sell. Lindsay Veramis tells us if we're starting to see any progress in the foreclosure crisis.
Tearing out the old and another property off Lansing's foreclosure list, Rich Floyd could be a face of hope for the mid-Michigan housing market.
The chimney on the back of the house was falling off. It had been abandoned for 5.5 years. The furnace is not working. The plumbing was frozen and destroyed. The roof was falling in on itself.
Floyd is one of a growing number of investors taking a gamble on homes like this one. He bought it at auction late last month and is now fixing it up for sale.
There's a lot of time and effort that goes into it, and we look at around 100 houses before we buy one house.
He's had a lot to pick from in recent years. Ingham County Treasurer Eric Schertzing says mortgage foreclosures in Lansing are down from last year, but the city is still seeing about 1,000 a year. Recovery on the tax foreclosure side is coming slower. Lansing saw a small increase this year, but those numbers might not tell the whole story. Schertzing points to record sales for land bank homes and buoyed interest this August in auction properties.
You know, new investors coming into the marketplace, I think expressing a great deal of confidence in the recovery, because 80% of the individual properties that we offered were snatched up.
By people like Floyd, who are putting properties back on the tax rolls and hopefully back in the hands of homeowners.
The neighbors will stop by and tell us, you know, we've looked at that house for 5 years and, you know, we just always wanted something to happen with it. You're going to improve the value of the homes around us, and finally we're not going to have an eyesore in the neighborhood.
In Lansing, Lindsay Veramis, Fox 47 News.
Now, not all investors have found success. Many flipped homes have turned into rentals, which aren't the quality properties Lansing is looking for. The county says some of its tax foreclosures are banks actually getting behind because some have so much property they're losing track of who they owe and when. Others simply choose not to pay because that's a cheaper alternative.